Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Would you please take a moment and silence your cell phones? Mr. McCarty, would you like to inspire us, please?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come from a land of riches and plenty. Lord, we just ask for your direction and your knowledge to help us know what to do, what you would have us do, to help those who are less fortunate than us. We have health services available. We know there are those who lack basic needs. Lord, help us to understand what we can do to help them. Lord, we don't want just to be a club of money, but we want to be a club of action. Help us to know how best to do that, to bring glory to you. I ask all this in Jesus' name.
Amen. Flexter, would you like to lead us in the pledge? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. My lovely wife, would you like to do the Rotary Minute?
Another secret. Okay.
It's like my daughter. She has a new nickname.
No.
And that went
John,
out on her Facebook.
we got a bad mic over there.
What happened to you?
I didn't know who this was. He's looking over here saying Flector. I'm like,
All right.
is everybody ready?
What is a Rotarian? A Rotarian is a person who digs wells from which he won't drink, a person who vaccinates children he/she will never meet, who restores eyesight for those he/she won't ever see, who builds housing he or she will never live in, who educates children he or she will never know, who plants trees he or she will never see or sit under, who feeds hungry people regardless of color, race, or politics, who makes crawlers into walkers halfway around the world, who knows real happiness, which, as Albert Schweitzer said, can only be found by serving others. That's an excerpt from a book called 2 Drops That Changed the World. It's by a man named C. Grant Wilkins, who's a Rotarian with the Denver Club, and he was recognized at the RI President's Dinner that John and I went to. And he's done a remarkable amount of work with Rotary, including working on the Polio Plus project. And he wrote this memoir, and I'd like to challenge everybody to read it. It's a pretty quick read, and it's very inspiring of all of the work he's done. You can get the book, 2 Drops That Changed the World, from Amazon, or I'm willing to share my copy and pass it around for everybody to read. So I'd like everybody to read this. So who would like it next? There you go.
All right. Great. Thank you very much. Dr. Kent.
Just as a side note, Grant Wilkins was our keynote speaker at our charter meeting.
Oh, very cool. Maybe we can get him to speak again. Okay. All right. Very nice. Dr. Paul, thanks so much for setting up this morning. Much appreciated. Cheryl is out sick today. Tripp, I guess you're on takedown. Thank you very much for that. Diana Y., great job as greeter this morning. I felt very greeted. John, good job on the inspiration. And Karen Fleck, great job on the pledge. Visiting Rotarians, we have a Kevin Mackesy, who I guess visited the week that I was out and Randy took over for me. But he hasn't met me yet, so we got to get over this hurdle. So Kevin, he's back. Everybody give him a round of applause. Good to see him back. And then, of course, one of our most important guests today, Mayor Stephanie Piko, is here. We'll introduce you a little bit later before you speak. Welcome very much. We've got a jam-packed agenda today, so we're going to slam through this pretty quick so we can give the mayor plenty of time. Birthdays. Paul Fritzler, you know what the 25th is, right? All right, very good. Diana Fritzler's birthday is on the 25th. Yenny Palma, where's Yenny at? I saw her. All right, we're finally going to induct Yenny today. Her birthday is on the 27th. Ann West, 28th, and John West, the 29th.
Can't do it.
Yes, a lot of birthdays this week. Where's Jay Zing? I saw him earlier. Jay, what's coming up on the 25th? Oh, it's going to be fun. Yeah, Jay's wedding anniversary. And Zin Wang, is that pronounced correctly? Your wife? Okay, their wedding anniversary is on the 25th, so it's coming up. All right, moving right along. Mr. Ernest, where are you? Would you stand and approach the bench, please? You're in big trouble. So, Randy did a heck of a job last year, and we won the presidential citation, but we've been waiting this long in order to actually physically get the award, so they did give it to us at the mid-year president's meeting. So here is our 2016-2017 presidential citation. There were only, I think, 3 clubs in the district that won this award, and we had a lot of people congratulate me, and I took all the glory because Randy wasn't there. But here's our presidential citation. Great job last year.
Thank you. And of course, this is just everyone's hard work. We have such a great group of active and involved folks. So this was not easy, and it took a lot of our, spirit and energy to accomplish. So good job, everybody.
And I'm looking forward to your helping win it again. Since you know all the little hurdles that we've got to jump over at this point. Mr. Butler, Tripster, rise and approach the bench, please.
The only one that says happy birthday.
I did. Extra brownies later.
So, all of you know about the Paul Harris Award, where $1,000 worth of giving is one Paul Harris. Well, Mr. Butler today has 4 little blue sapphires as he gets his Paul Harris plus 4. Not that we're all about money. Congratulations, great job. Thank you very much. Oh, here, you may want the invoice just because. All right, wonderful. All right, let me find my next thing. Yenny Palma and Tim Eunice, would you rise and approach the bench, please? Tim, you need to pay attention. Oh. That's a little creepy, Trip. Just a little creepy. Fellow Rotarians, it is the duty of our club to add new members from time to time so that we may not only increase our usefulness and influence as a club, but also to extend the spirit of Rotary throughout the community. Today I welcome to our ranks and admit to membership Yenny Palma. This one, not this one. This is not Yenny. Rotarian Yenny Palma, you have been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe you to be a worthy representative of your calling, and also to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in public, business, social, and private life. I wish to impress upon you that you have been admitted not only to the Rotary Club of Centennial, but also to a worldwide association, and by virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed in the fellowship of any Rotary club throughout the world. And I encourage you to visit other clubs. It can be very exciting. It can also be a little dull sometimes, but you got to look at the big picture. The honor and privilege of Rotary membership carries with it duties and obligations. You will be expected to attend the club's meetings regularly, to perform your share of club service, and to place your knowledge and talents at the disposal of the club in its task of carrying the principles of Rotary into daily life of the community. I ask all members to rise. Rotarian Yenny Palma, in the name of the Rotary Club of Centennial, I now formally admit you to membership in the club and affix to your label our emblem. Mr. Una. Label. Hey, trying to make eye contact and read the speech.
It's hard to be cute and bright at the same time.
I think my wife will maybe disagree with you on that, but fellow Rotarians, I commend to you our newest member, Rotarian Yenny Palma, and charge all of you to welcome her. So here is your membership kit, including your certificate and then information about Rotary.
Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Give Yenny a big round of applause. Did I really say label instead of lapel? Diane, did I really say label instead of lapel? All right, I'm old, I have an excuse.
I know you only did it.
Well, that's true, and only a couple people noticed, so maybe you aren't listening. Okay, let's get rolling. This Saturday, our first opioid symposium at Heritage Eagle Bend, starting at 8:30 for setup. Shh. Thank you. Currently signed up are Randy Ernest, Amy Reese from our Millennials, Karen Fleck, Diana Hwy, Samantha Rowe, Kevin Heckel, John Wexler, Ken Hope, Patrick McGuire, Karen Barry, and myself. If anybody else wants to attend and help out, that would be much appreciated. Get in touch with Jessica Reagan, and she will add you to the list. On your tables, there is a brochure from Flower Power. So we need to start planning for this event. During the Home and Garden Show every year, at the end of the show, Rotarians get free admittance, and then we pack up the flowers and we distribute them to local nursing homes. Fun project, easy project, both boxing them up and also delivering them to the nursing home. So I'd like you to take a look at that, and I'm going to be hounding someone to kind of run the show on this, so don't make eye contact. April 13th, Rally for Kids. That's one of CASA's big events. Karen and I were table hosts last year, and we got suckered into doing it again this year. So save that date. That's one of their big fundraisers. If I remember correctly, the luncheon is free, but then they're looking for donations at the time. So get in touch with Karen and I, and we'll get you signed up for that. May 19th through the 20th, what used to be known as the District Conference is now called the District Celebration. Put that on your calendar. They're making some very interesting changes to that. It's going to be far less expensive than in previous years. It's also going to give business owners an opportunity to highlight their business in addition to talking about service in the community. Going to be a neat event. So keep that on your calendar. Jeannie Henshin, could you talk about Valentine's for Vets, please?
On your table are these flyers that say Valentine's for Vets. Also, it says bourbon and bacon. Anyhow, some 20 years ago, Hank and I heard Rick talk about this on the radio. And Hank immediately, being a veteran, said, we need to do this. And we've done this every year for 20 years. And this is making Valentines, buying Valentines for veterans in Veterans Hospital here, as well as in their retirement community home. There's a lot of veterans in this Rotary Club. If you have grandchildren, little children, they're wonderful to help. They can create Valentines. But we need everybody that would be willing to donate, make Valentines. You just address them. If you look at this, you address it to a vet, and you sign it, thank you for your service, or whatever you want to put on it. And you can drop them off at the Hallmark store if you are in this neighborhood, the one that's up at Parker Road and Arapahoe Road. Or if that's not convenient, bring them in here and bring them to me, and I will take them to the radio station or up to the Hallmark store. We need to have them in here, whatever the meeting is, before February 9th. Must be the 7th or 6th or 7th. Anyhow, you have to have them here by that time because they will pick them up on the 9th, and then actually Rick's wife and grandkids all take them to the hospital and help deliver them. And the object is to get about 10,000. And this is sometimes the only piece of mail some of these vets get during the year. So it's a really big project. Anyone willing to help would love to have you help.
Is this like in the form of a card or a heart or what?
You can buy cards. If you have children that like to make Valentines, that's perfect. They can make Valentines. You can go to the dollar store and buy packages of cards. But any way you want to do it, but they're Valentine cards is what we're going to see, that every vet in the hospital has at least one that day. So, thank you.
All right, let's get on board with this. I think this is an easy and fun and worthy service project. Mary Alice, can you fill us in on prime timers? And I know you had something else too, but I didn't write it down.
We'd love to have you join us this Wednesday, tomorrow, at Piko Bistro, which is just off of Hampton and Kennedy, just south of Hampton Onion. It's a cute little bistro that has a little bar area with a fireplace, and we're using it for our happy hour. We'd love to have you join us.
4 o'clock. Oh, is that not working?
Sorry, 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So love to see you. Come meet some of the seniors that are there, who are many younger than I am. I also have the book. If you remember the other day, Andres handed out books about Nancy Nystrom. It's her book called Each Day a Portion. It is an excellent read. It's really fast. And if you ever think you've had a bad day, you should read about this woman's life. It is absolutely incredible what she has overcome. So it's here. I'd love to pass it on for somebody else to read it if anybody would like it. Thank you. I'll bring it over.
If you don't recall, Nancy Nystrom, she started the Children's Foundation, who runs Casa Hogar Los Angelitos in Manzanillo. That's the orphanage that we're going to be trying to work with coming up. There's a couple of logistical issues with the State Department right now that we're working through, but hopefully it all goes off as planned. Do we have any travel gifts? No travel gifts. Mr. Hope, Happy Bucks.
Okay.
I have $1. I was at the mid-year president's meeting last week, and I saw the presentation. John managed to wander up there and look attentive when he got the certificate. But just to demonstrate to everybody how difficult it is to get the presidential citation, there are 65 clubs in our district, and 4 clubs got the presidential citation. So my $1 is to the club and Randy Ernest for all the work they did last year. Mr. Ober, what's up?
Okay, I got $2. Yenny, welcome to the club.
Thank you. Thank you.
I met Yenny long time. I've known her. And then Randy, congratulations. That's a huge honor.
I'm getting the hurry up. I think we want to have Madam Mayor have lots of time here. So, Jeannie.
I found something in the newspaper. I know I'm probably the only one that reads a newspaper or listens to a radio, but this fits you all. Give back and get more. If you're volunteering this season, you may not expect anything in return, but you're getting better health as a perk. In fact, it may even be making you younger. According to a study published by whatever this group is, researchers have looked at over 40,000 people and found that those who volunteer were as healthy as someone 5 years younger. Keep volunteering.
All right. Flexer, the new nickname.
No, that's an old nickname.
Happy Buck, just because it's Tuesday, and welcome to our new members.
Thank you. Charlie, you got any money? Not today? Paul? Mr. Buck? Nothing? Jeez. All right, Jay, I can see he's got some money there.
$2 for the mayor and Sheriff Dave that do public service. We do volunteer work and public service in a small way, but they've dedicated their entire lives to it. So thank you to both of you for the service you give.
Anything from you, my dear? All right. Jessica, you're not having any money out here. Ms. Primetimer, nothing here. Geez, I'm a little disappointed here, but Dave will salvage this table.
Jay, thanks. Not my entire life, just 36 years in law enforcement. No big deal. Yeah, 37 next month. Yenny, welcome. One for you. Great to have you here. Randy, congratulations. And to our mayor, thanks for being here. Stephanie's great. We are very fortunate to have Mayor Noon for 8 years, quite honestly. But now it's great because we're just reloading, and we now have Stephanie. And it's great because she is on board with everything. She'll do great for the city, and I can't wait to spend the next 5 years working with you.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. Barb, anything? No money from Angie? All right. Mr. Paller, where's your bow tie today, buddy?
Oh, my goodness gracious. I was reminded by Mr. Tripp himself that yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Skip.
John. Oh, you got the mic already.
I have $1 for Mayor Piko, who the city gains a great mayor, and I lose a board member on the Southeast Metro Stormwater Authority. Thank you for serving SEMSWA as well, Stephanie.
I've got 5. The first one is for CASA. I have been assigned to my next case. I'm going to be helping 2 little boys again, but these are younger, 1.5 and 4.5-year-olds. So I'm really excited to get going with that. And with the Rally for Kids, especially for the new members who don't know that much about CASA and Advocates for Children and what we do, I really encourage you to go to the luncheon because you'll learn more about what the organization does and why we support it. The second one is for the Metro State aerobatic team. They took first place in the collegiate competition last year, and they beat the University of North Dakota, which always wins, so it was a big feat for them to beat them. The third $1 is for my son Jared, who finished second in the individual competition, which was pretty awesome for him because now that he's working, he doesn't have the chance to fly the airplane that he flies in the competitions or practice the sequences that he has to do in the competitions. So for him to get second is pretty good. The fourth one is, what was the fourth one for?
Daytona.
Huh?
Daytona, or is that?
No, that's the last one. Oh, I can't remember what the fourth one is, but Tripp's birthday, okay.
Oh, okay.
And welcome to Yanni. Okay, and the fifth one, of course, is, of course, NASCAR countdown, 26 days to Daytona 500 and the start of the NASCAR season. Yes.
I knew you wouldn't.
Oh, I know what the fourth one is now that Catherine showed up. The fourth one is Karen Flexter, Kathy Smith, and I. We won the 2 nights in the B&B, and we booked our trip in September, so we're excited to do that.
Do you have any money before you sit down?
I can do an IOU.
Who's got the IOUs? Jay? What, 5, 10, 20? What are we doing today?
I'll do 5.
Aha, 5.
Well, no, you get to buy your own 5. It's double
Your own
digits.
5.
You're on.
We're not combining things
We're
yet.
not combined yet.
Or maybe never. I don't know.
So happy Buck. I actually have a job.
Yay!
Good news. I was a sales team of 3 across the entire United States. Now I'm a sales team of 1 for the whole U.S.
No accountability there at all.
So, dilly dilly. I'm excited to have my fiance back after 2 weeks of being gone. But in that in-between time, I'm also excited that my wedding got super planned. And then just a huge shout out to my amazing State of the City crew. Our mayor has some really exciting ideas of what she wants to do to enhance State of the City to make it more of a city event. And I'm very thankful to my ambitious crew who's already emailing me because I'm behind. Where's my letters? How do I get out there? All of that. So thanks to my State of the City crew.
Your time just got used up.
I got 5. Unfortunately, she stole a little bit of my thunder. Now, it's good to be back from Africa. One thing I was able to do while I was there was to reach out to the Rotary Club of Garki in Abuja, Nigeria. And I'll be attending a meeting with them the next time I'm there. I just needed to do some better coordination. As well as in Tunis, Tunisia, and Carthage. Normally, they used to meet at the hotel I normally stay at, but they switched. So I wasn't able to meet with them, but I do have a link up with them next time. Much like Catherine said, we made some huge strides in getting our wedding planned, so there's a huge burden off of our shoulders, and I have to give a shout out over to my future mother-in-law, to Jeannie Henshin, for helping out on that, and the next milestone's on the 3rd of February. And once again, it's just it's great to be back, and great to see you guys at least for the next few weeks. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. President-elect. What do you got? Got some money?
I have three. One's for Yenny. Yenny, welcome. Glad you finally made it. Glad you're feeling better. Mayor Piko, welcome. As a Centennial business owner, I am very happy that you are our new mayor. And the third is for our opioid symposium that we're doing over at Heritage Eagle Bend this Saturday. I encourage all members to attend if you can. People that are working the event are going to be there at 8:30. Get there between 8:45 to 9 o'clock. Let's have a big showing.
Brad, what you got? Oh, you want some money back? Change?
The first one is a shout out for Randy. Congratulations. The second one is from Mayor Piko. Glad you're here today and looking forward to hearing you talk. And although I'm no longer a Centennial citizen, I would have voted for you. Legally. The third one is, kind of a question. Who tried to wait in line for Hamilton tickets yesterday? Okay, all right. Now, who was successful getting Hamilton tickets?
Stop! No way.
What? All right, you guys are going to hate me, so I have no interest in Hamilton whatsoever, but my wife does, and so she said, hey, can you buy me tickets? And so, because she was in meetings, so I'm like, okay. And I was actually in meetings too, but I kind of took a bathroom break at the appropriate time, and I logged right in. There was no wait. There was some flaw in the system. I just bought my tickets, and it took me like 5 minutes. So, yeah. Yeah. And so I've been reading later how many hundreds of thousands were waiting, so I'm very sorry. And the fourth I cannot dignify that with a yes, so. And then Joan, she has plans for the others. And then the fourth one is shout out for chat groups. So they're long time come in waiting, whatever. And so for those of you less familiar with chat groups, I'm going to send out an announcement to organize them. Chat groups is a great opportunity for us to get to know each other and deepen our relationships. Here today is our opportunity to widen our relationships, but the specific point of chat groups is to deepen them. So we ideally like groups of about 5, and so those tend to be the funnest. And so I'll be sending out groups of about 7 to 8 people, and there might be 2 or 3 people that can attend. And if you're at the top of the list of the chat group, you're the organizer of your chat group, okay? And so if you send out an email and people are not responding to that email like you want them to, that is normal. So you just got to chase them down. Hey, did you get that email? Give them a call. And don't be easily satisfied. Don't be satisfied until you get 4 or 5 people to your group. Another thing is don't just give 1 or 2 options as far as when to meet. We all lead diverse schedules, so give 5 or 6 different options so that way you'll find one common ground. That's another way to increase attendance. So I'll be sending that out this week, okay?
Can leaders of the chat group send it out to the whole group when they get it organized? Because that's a great way if you can't make your own to know about the other meetings.
That kind of destroys the point of deepening relationships, though. You can, but...
I'll let you two caucus separately here. I didn't know there was an agenda. You know, the birthday boy is pretty good here. He actually took Brad's dollar that I gave him surreptitiously while Brad was talking. So, okay, birthday boy, you want to say something?
No, I wanted to thank John Peterson and Paul Horiuchi. Although John gave me credit for setup, unless you're here at 5:30 or so, you're not going to do any setting up because these guys are Johnny on the spot. So keep that in mind if you're the setter-upper.
Thanks for Brad's dollar. No! Samantha Rowe.
So I'm giving up my last dollar.
Thank you.
Welcome, Yenny. We're glad to have you here. I'm glad you were able to come back and be a part of it.
So yesterday was pretty dull at work. All the civilians came into work, and then we immediately sent them home. So absolutely nothing got done. But so my dollar is to be happy about our civilians who are back to work today.
That was a typical day. Jenny? Oh, you don't. Who's got the IOUs? I mean, you just got adopted here. All right, we want 5 from you next week. All right. Hey, Patrick, we do have the mayor here, so let's keep it brief.
Well, okay. This is for Jenny. Welcome, Jenny. I'm glad we have another new greenhorn in the job, and makes me have a little seniority in this group here.
Jessica, welcome.
Yes, I'm going to give 20 because this is called guilt money because I'm always late or I've been traveling a lot. Super excited to hear from you today. It's going to be a fantastic presentation. Just want to give a shout out to just getting to know some Rotarians more. Both Tripp and John have been incredibly helpful on a home project and with a car lease. And I'll tell you, those are all fun things, but what's so important about that is it's overwhelming to somebody like me who's by myself, and it is so wonderful to have trustworthy people I can depend on, and I'm so grateful for that. So just glad to be here, and hopefully I won't get too much heckling because I just gave 20.
We're good for a while. Don? Shout out to Diane. She's our new grant qualifier person. She went to the seminar on Saturday.
Yes, he just took one of my dollars. So the district and global grants meeting was really important, but there's something I learned on the side I want to remind everybody. All of the E-Club folks, there are a ton of Rotarians that just do the E-Club meetings, and what I learned is that they're always looking for projects to be involved in because they're not really attached to anybody. So when you go on their website, if you're in charge of a project and you're looking for volunteers beyond our club, when you go on the website, click on that E-Club, there is a list of members and where they live. And so I just wanted to say that. That was really important. Second is John. Do you guys really see how much he squirrels around and makes all this work? So I just wanted to say thank you, because I don't understand any of that stuff. And Mayor, thank you for being here. I'm super excited about your tenure, and we're going to see what happens. It's going to be fun. Randy, congrats, dude. You're awesome. You did a great job, and the club is really proud of you. So I wanted to say thank you. And then, Jenny, thank you for joining us and drinking the Kool-Aid. It's a great club, and I'm just really glad to be here.
Any money out of Big John? Santa Claus?
Well, I'm happy to have my brother here staying with me right now. He lives in Petersburg, Alaska. Now, living in Denver, it's very rare that I get a tsunami warning in the middle of the night. But last night at 3:30, due to the magic of cell phones, we got a tsunami warning at our house with him.
From Alaska. Hey, Jay.
All right, I have 3, and Randy, congratulations. And 2 is Yanni, welcome, and also the guest. And 3 is for the mayor. I don't live in Centennial. I can't vote, and my business just moved out of over a year ago now in Greenwater Village. But still, I'm here to support whatever we need to be doing for the Centennial.
Thanks, Jay. Doug, anything? Cheryl.
I have 2. Yenny, welcome. So glad you're here. And the other one is for Mayor Piko. Thank you for coming. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Madam Mayor, are you happy today? Okay, but not that happy. I got to be polite here.
Don't be hounding her for money yet.
I just asked politely.
Shh. You got to ease her into this deal.
Mr. Garfinkel, anything today? All right. Come on. We got a presidential citation here. You got to put some money in.
I have to do an IOU because my first dollar is my son was on the honor roll, so my wife promptly took all the money out of my wallet and gave it to my kid.
Welcome to marriage.
I know. I was like, oh, that's great. The second is thanks to the club for all your hard work with the presidential citation. I said it earlier, but I do think that the president set the bar very high, and except for a couple of things, our club just knocked the ball out of the park, and it was certainly no effort on my behalf. It was really everyone else's hard work and doing what you do every year. So that was great, and that's all I got. Thank you.
What do we get? You fill it out for him, $20? Couple? Kevin, any money?
He hasn't even joined.
What do you want? I got change for how much you need. I got change for 100 here. Oh my goodness, great. I have
no.
I'm rarely happy, so
but you make an exception for the mayor.
I'll just make something up. But it's good to be back in Rotary. I took about 6 months off. I was in the Highlands Ranch Club, but they meet at lunchtime, and it's like a 6-hour lunch, and I don't have that kind of time. So glad to be here for breakfast.
Thanks, Kevin. Okay, Mr. Prez.
I've got 4. First, Yenny, welcome. I'm glad we finally got you inducted. Karen's been carrying around your packet for a while, and we got you going, so thank you. Mayor, thank you so much for coming. Looking forward to developing a great relationship with the city, expanding on what it already is. Randy, great job. I'm proud of you. You did a heck of a job, and you left me with a club that was in one piece, so I thank you for that even more. And then Kevin, thank you so much for coming. Look forward to seeing you more. Tripp is the guy that will be hounding you with membership applications, I'm sure, right at the end of the... And a package of Kool-Aid, yes, very much. So without further ado, Cheryl, would you like to introduce Mayor Piko?
It's my pleasure to have the mayor here today, and I'm going to share some other things beyond her bio, if that's all right.
Cheryl, not everything on the internet is true. I'm just...
Well, I think there's a lot of truth on the internet. It's amazing. But Mayor Piko is originally from Florida, down in Clearwater, and she made a trip out here to Winter Park and on a spring fling one year to go skiing, and that's where she met her husband, standing in line. And then they had a 4-year relationship, a long-distance relationship, and he was living in Michigan, and then they got married. And during that journey, she was very involved in academics in terms of getting her degree in environmental sciences as well as in business and marketing. And she didn't realize that later on in life that would really become an advantage to her. And then they've moved around. She's been in Texas, where she was a councilwoman down there, and then came to Metro Denver in 2001. And got involved in an unusual way in the city of Centennial, in that she was living on the Cherry Creek Reservoir and wanted to know more about the water projects and various things going on there. And that's how she originally started in government. And she could tell you more about that. And then she got very involved as a councilwoman. And if you go out to the internet, it's utterly amazing, all the things that she's accomplished. I don't know how she ever slept. The list is so long. I found something of interest, but the sheriff has already left. It says in here what she has done. She enhanced the services and accountability from staff and contractors, including Public Works, the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office, so I was going to tease Dave, and the City Attorney's Office and Animal Services. I found that very interesting. But let me go to her official bio, if that's okay. Just last week, she was inducted, or 2 weeks ago, inducted as the mayor on January 8th. And as mayor, she's involved with many state, regional, and local committees and boards, such as the Metro Mayor's Caucus, the National League of Cities, Denver South Economic Development Partnership, and Transportation Management Association, Centennial Fiber Works Commission, chair of the Cherry Creek Basin Water Quality Authority, Centennial's Audit and Budget Committees, and others. She and her husband have lived here, as I mentioned, in Centennial since 2001, and she has 2 college students. One is at Chapman University out in California, and the other is a freshman, I believe, at CSU. Junior. Oh, my. Welcome, Stephanie. Really appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Good morning. We all working? Good? All right. Thank you very much for that introduction. She has a mind like a steel trap, so in case anybody wanted she remembered everything I said just in a brief period of time at the breakfast line. So that was very intuition for me. I'll know what to do next time. I want to thank you guys for having me here. I have one favor to ask of you. Mayor Pye has been giving me kind of grief about making sure I come up here and do this for over a year. So he's been on my case to make sure I get in front of the Rotary Club, and then he's not here. So when you see him, you need to make sure that you tell him that I was inspirational and quite the visionary, and it was the best presentation, whether it is or not, that you guys have ever had at Rotary Club. And so that you make sure that you tell him that he missed out on not being here, and that he was wise to have supported me way back when. So I have been kind of haunted by him and Mayor Noon for the last couple of weeks. The first meeting I went to had both of them there at the Metro Mayor's Caucus. Mayor Noon was already still the chair because she hadn't passed the torch over yet. And Mayor Pye was there because he's on the board of the sponsorship group that runs Metro Mayor. So I had both of them there, you know, overshadowing the event. And then yesterday I was still with Mayor Noon at the ACOA meeting for Arapahoe County Council on Aging. So neither one of them came today, so maybe that's a nice little opportunity for me to finally not have somebody watching over my shoulder all the time. I want to thank you guys, too, for the relationship that the Rotary Club has with the city of Centennial. Most of you know me from my standing in line at the beer tent at all of our city events. I think that's been a really great relationship. It's definitely been mutually beneficial for both parties involved on a personal level and on a city level. And I look forward to the state of the city now that the pressure's been put on that it's going to be, such a great event. And it's going to be different. I appreciate the fact that you guys do it for the city over and over again. And it gives us an opportunity to shine as well as Rotary Club. I guess I'll start just a little bit more about me. I really wanted this to be kind of interactive and a chance for us just to kind of get to know each other. I think that's how people build relationships. That's what kind of campaigning is all about, too. You have an opportunity to tell people a little bit more, and you can engage with them and find that commonality that we all share in something. So as said, I moved here in 2001. My kids were very young when we moved here. And they started in the Cherry Creek School District we lived in a brand new neighborhood, and we had a brand new school. So being who I am, I stepped up and helped and get the school launched and off the ground. I ended up volunteering in the Cherry Creek School District for a while until they, coerced me into actually working there. So they wanted me to be their IT coordinator for the school that I was in. And I know it's business, environment, how you end up in IT. This is part of the story. I worked for Apple when I was in college at the bookstore and sold Apple computers and did trainings, and my marketing team had won the competition on campus for Apple to do a promotion on campus, and then they ended up hiring me. So I worked for them my senior year. Should have kept that job. Really should have kept that job. Should have moved to Cupertino back then and didn't do it. But that was our first mistake. But because I was a Mac person, when I got my first job out of college in Michigan, the company I was with was an insurance company, and they were moving into Windows for the first time. And so we had about 65, 70 people in the company that had no idea how to use a mouse. And when I tell my kids that story, they just can't even imagine life without a mouse. But, there was no training or anything. Nobody knew how to do it. So as a 23, 24-year-old, I ended up running all the training sessions for the company to teach everybody how to use Excel, point, click, double click, right? All that kind of stuff. So as basic as that sounds, it just rolled into one thing after another of everyone being like, well, you're really good at this. You're really good at this. And so as I got into Cherry Creek, the school was all Mac, so I was very happy when I walked into the computer lab for my kids, and so I ended up doing all their back background stuff in was site-based management then, so we had to do servers and all that back at the school. But then ended up teaching. So I got a chance as a substitute teacher for the Cherry Creek School District of teaching technology to kids K through 5. And it was a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed being with, not only with my kids, but with all my friends' kids and all my neighbors' kids. And as a specials teacher, you get the opportunity to watch kids grow up. When you teach one grade, you just see them for that 1 year, and then they kind of move on. But when you teach all of them, you get to watch the kids be from kindergarten through 5th grade, and you get to see them kind of blossom and really expand on what they want to learn and help encourage them. So it's a great experience, and it got me involved in a different way locally as far as being PTO president with the school and working on parents' council with the district and working closely with the district on a couple projects for our school. So all that kind of tied in a lot with crossing paths all the time with people from the city. When I did some work, we had a land purchase that was near my house in my neighborhood, and I met Mayor Noon. It was on the Centennial Council neighborhood at the time, and Ron Weidman. I don't know if anyone knows him from District 4, but he ended up running for council in District 4, and the three of us were the first plans review committee for CenCon. And so we'd meet at the coffee shop and talk about things that were being proposed for development. And so that was how I met those two, and they're obviously very passionate people as well that kept encouraging me, and ended up being on planning and zoning and worked on the city's first open space master plan back in 2007. And part of that was actually approving the purchase and construction of our Centennial Center Park. So that park has a real near dear to my heart because we had to put up quite a fight to make sure that it was that it was a good idea to buy. It was a little bit of contentious on the first open space committee as to whether or not that was a good thing for us to be doing, and so I was very proud to stand up and say, yeah, this is what we want for a city. We put it in our plans that we want a local gathering place for everybody to come and meet and get together, and it worked out great. I think you would all agree that it has been definitely a star for the city and something that we are all very proud of and work really hard to keep going and keep our programming going for the summer, and we have you guys to thank for a lot of that success as well. As I go on through it's gone on through the city and had an opportunity to work with so many different groups, one of the things I've noticed, and probably this year on the campaign trail more than ever, is how many people are out in our community working hard every day to make things better. And it's really discouraging when you watch the national news too much, or you get caught up in things too much because all you hear about is the negative and the fighting and the infighting and things that are going on that don't make us come together as a community. And it was very encouraging to be out this year in the community talking to people and really hearing their story about what they're doing. There are so many people that do so much for their neighborhoods, for their small group, that kind of just go unnoticed. And a lot of them like it that way. That's not what they're doing it for. We all know that. But to have the opportunity, I look forward to kind of highlight some of that stuff throughout the city of Centennial. I think you'll see some of that in the state of the city as well when we get to that. To bring notice to those people that are making those small differences in their community and really engaged in doing such great work. There's so many different charitable organizations that we have even in the city of Centennial, and so many people that volunteer to stay younger every day. That's why they do it. And so, they want to be a part of their community, and people are really, really interested in doing it. And a great example of that is we have to fill the vacancy for District 4. I had to resign from my seat. And so we had our first time having to do something of this nature, and we had 9 people apply to sit on a city council seat for vacancy. And that right there, and looking through everyone's resume and everyone's qualification, it was really encouraging that people who were really interested in not only did they know what the issues were that were going on in the city of Centennial, but they really had that dedication to community to want to serve. And it was very encouraging. As I've gone on through the boards and commissions and on city council, we've had so many qualified people apply for planning and zoning. You feel bad when you have to tell people no, because they're like, but I'm really qualified. You know, I'm an engineer. I should be a planning and zoning commissioner. And it's like, yeah, and we have everybody who's applying is really qualified. So I think it says a lot about our community that people are starting to engage even more and wanting to step up and get involved. And so it's important for us to all find other venues for people to be able to do that and to be part of our community. As the city goes on and goes forward, I know one of the things that my IT background kind of pushed me into that FiberWorks commission and really working hard to get that network built. And happy to say it's under budget and ahead of schedule. And we have the first ring is completed. And that's, you know, kind of how you mesh those kind of things together with the IT background, it helps. But we've got our east ring and our west ring, and they are both under construction at this time. And we expect completion within 2018. And all that ties into one of the biggest issues I heard about on the campaign trail was transportation and traffic. And once we can get that fiber in place and under the ground, we can connect a lot of our traffic signals and work on our transportation management system that we have. And we just had a tour of it again last night at our council meeting for our new council members. And so we have 50 signals that have been tied into our system. And until the system is completely installed, we can't bring it up to that next robust level. But just having traffic monitoring and being able to have cameras on intersections and count cars and know what's going on live feed, and being able to remotely address signal problems instead of having to send a guy out there in a truck, it will be a great advantage, even an immediate advantage to the city. And I look forward to over the next 18 months for that really to take off and for people to kind of start seeing that. As well as the other part of that FiberWorks project is to hopefully offer internet services to our business communities. Our small business owners are really the ones that get overlooked when it comes to the providers, CenturyLink and Comcast. They have a tendency to those are too small of accounts for them, and that's not the direction they want to go. So we have a lot in our residential areas. We have small businesses that are in shopping centers, and those are the type of businesses that we're trying to target to get some of that services out, because people know that are working. Denver has become an international city. A lot of that's because of DIA, and a lot of that is because of the fact that we're in a really great time zone to work on both in Europe and in Asia. But you know, for the local business owner, anybody who's local can be global, and that's a big piece for the city and for business owners. And a lot of people work from home and telecommute, and the more people that can do that, hopefully that might help with some of that transportation and congestion problem as well. So that's a piece that is coming along very nicely, and I look forward to seeing that really change how we can bring our city forward as part of even the Smart Cities Alliance, which was just formed last year. And that is a consortium of people that is directed actually by Arrow Electronics, has taken the lead on that for us and has become our kind of project manager for the Smart Cities Alliance, and proudly that they are a Centennial-based company, but I look forward to working with them and trying to find these innovative solutions that bring all of our communities together and help us. It doesn't do Centennial a lot of good to fix our traffic if we can't help Greenwood Village and can't help Littleton and can't help Lone Tree, get us all kind of working on the same system and the same kind of grid, and to be able to bring some of those opportunities to us more as a region instead of just being about Centennial. So I think that's a big piece of it too. As far as, I'm trying to think, I lost track. I was going to go. I know I can go on and on and on. So I guess, too, as far as, I'd love to open it up and answer questions from you guys. It's I actually wanted to just, one more thing, I should have said it in the very beginning, but I'm very proud of my brother is the chairman of the board for the Shriners Hospital in Salt Lake City, Utah. And so I've grown up doing service in community. My dad was an Optimist in the Optimist Club, and I just remember, and he was a Shriner, and so I, drove go-karts and parades and did all that kind of stuff growing up as a kid. And so we've always done this as a, it was always a family event for us, and I've hoped that I've instilled that in my kids as well. My son Connor was on the Centennial Youth Commission. He's now a junior at CSU, and he is a mechanical engineering major. And my older son is a senior at Chapman University, and he does 3D animation. and he's currently working on a stop motion film for his senior thesis. So that's got us all, everybody in a tizzy, because graduation is in May, and it's also, not only do they have a graduation, but they have like a red carpet premiere of their movies, and it turns into like the Academy Awards for all the seniors. And so I'll be gone for a couple of weeks. It's 2 weekends. I have to do it 2 weekends apart. So we have 2 weekends in a row. I got to fly out to California, but it will be worth it to see him do great with that. So I will be happy to open it up for questions. I'm sure I've totally missed off on some things. So, yes.
The question is,
Microphone. Oh, don't I might have to put in $40, I think, because I'm going to be speaking.
I'm Brad Hablitzel. My question's about the farmers market. From an outsider looking in, it's my understanding the city gave that a try, but it didn't go the way we wanted. And is it folded? And is there any? Can we learn from that experience to make the next event more successful?
So we had actually yes, and I have personal connection with the gentleman that runs the farmers market in Parker and the one out at Southlands, and he is interested in bringing that farmers market back to Centennial, which would be just kind of a different take on how we did it before. One of the things I think lessons learned is that if it's not a regularly scheduled event like every week, it has a tendency to not. People don't know that it's going on, and and for us, it's kind of that consternation for the city to say, are we ready to have staff working, on the weekends, every weekend at the park all over summer? And I think the taste for that has gone up. I think people realize that we need to have more of a consistent presence there if we're going to have some of those types of events be more successful. From what people have told me, the Parker Farmers Market and the Southlands Farmers Market are two of the best ones out there. And the reason that I know the owner is when I first, when my dad passed away, I inherited his boat, and I had it out on Cherry Creek Reservoir, and he was the mechanic and the dock guy at Cherry Creek, how he went from that to farmers market, I really, I have no idea, but I ran into him last year when I was campaigning, and he was, I was like, I hadn't seen him in probably 6 or 7 years, and he's like, yeah, and he's told me all about what he's doing, so I'm like, okay, great, we've got to get together. They actually opened up the store, The Local. I don't know if anyone's seen it out at the street, out of Southlands, and so it's kind of another piece of that puzzle we're looking at to bring in local vendors, that kind of that makers economy that's going on, and so look for it because we're out talking to them.
And just so you know, my wife and I love boating and water skiing. Hint, hint.
There we go. Yes. Well, my engine block cracked last year, and I lost my. I barely made it back to the boat ramp before it sunk. So it did not sink, but it was, the water was, it was a lot of water coming in, and we were fortunate that we decided to, a very good Samaritan was like, can you tell that you're taking on water because your bilge is running, and we had just put it in the water.
Wow.
And yeah, so I was very fortunate we didn't sink in the middle of the reservoir. Yes.
I will say that I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I live way out in Roxborough, and I drive to Parker and I drive to Southgun for their farmers markets because of the consistency. I know when they're there, and so I think you'll find great success on that.
And I'll throw it out there too for questions, but I'm not as familiar with when it's the best time of the year to have a farmers market, because I know when we've tried to do events in June, there's no product yet. It's June. Nothing's been harvested yet. So we were kind of looking at maybe an 8-week window between August and September of trying to do a more, consistent event. So we are looking at it. Yeah. Now this is the kind of weekend for Centennial Under the Stars. Yeah.
Mayor Piko, good morning, and thank you so much for coming. Diana Y. I am a brand new small business owner here in the city of Centennial. And I have a question for you and also a comment. As a new small business owner, not very familiar with the city, what would you recommend as being the best way for me to go about becoming more involved with the city? That's the question. Okay. The comment is, in the state of the city, if you are looking for a new small business to showcase, I will happily volunteer my small business.
So you hit just the target. So we are looking for innovative and new business ideas for 2018 to highlight a handful of businesses at the state of the city. And so what I would suggest is if you go on our website, there's a business link to get our business email. And we have a blast that goes out to all the local businesses that one kind of highlights each other, but also ties in how city events might affect your business and how you might want to get involved with that. And that's where they're sending out the information about how to apply for trying to get into the State of the City presentation and be a highlighted business. So if you want, I'm happy to give me your card, or I'll get your card, and we can exchange, and I'll make sure that communications gets you on that list too. Absolutely. In the back?
Yeah, my name's Tom Buck, and I just thought I would disclose to you my son-in-law is Jason, who you're referring to, that runs the market.
Oh, Jason Williams. Yes.
Yeah.
See? Okay, see? It all comes together. You never know who's in the room.
And my daughter Jill said tell you hello. And yes, the Parker market in particular got voted #1 in the state the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've been very successful. Yeah.
Yes, Mayor, I just want to let you know, I deal a lot with the planning department within Centennial for permits and things, and they are aces. They are the best people to deal with, and I'm licensed in about 16 communities, and by far heads and above everybody else.
Oh, I appreciate that, and we'll put that testimonial out on the website as well. And I would look for those things to become better. One of the things that I worked on on City Council, we had all of our systems within the city. I did a lot of system work for Cherry Creek School District, and when they would roll out new things and having to integrate it in with the teachers and that type of thing. And so workflow and how you train people is part of the end of the side that I would work on. And when I got to the city after I was even there for 3-4 years, it was finally that we had a consultant come in and do an actual workflow of what happens. It's like kind of watching I'm Just a Bill, trying to get to Capitol Hill. It's like, how does something become a law or become even a process in the city of Centennial? And I was horrified. I mean, first of all, I was very impressed with the work that was done as far as how they identified all the workflows. It was one of the most elaborate and also just really full of great information on exactly what happens in our process. And our process was bad. It was taking, in some cases, some things were being inputted 6 times because our systems had all been bought, and to no fault of anyone, but we started the city in 2001, which wasn't really that long ago. The internet and email wasn't even what it is today. And we started one part and bought a system for that part and bought a system for that part and bought a system for that part. And next thing you know, we had 5 or 6 systems in the city that didn't talk to each other, did not share any kind of data whatsoever back and forth. And we all were looking at this going, it kind of horrified as to how, but you guys make this look so easy. We come to our meetings and everything looks all nice and everything's working. We're like, well, we work really hard just to make you guys look good. It was like, well, you should have told us it was this awful to have to work with. So we have invested quite a bit of resources in the last couple of years, and will be doing so in the future as well, to bring all those systems into one database so that you can do things online, so that permits can be issued and followed, so everything can be tracked. I very appreciate the work that we got from SEMSWA in helping us look at some of those systems to see if verifying that they worked and that we liked the way they were going to interact not only with our staff but with the community. So you will see, and hopefully something will be prepared for me to be able to unveil at the State of the City. Kind of a backwards goal there, but to let people know that things they'll have a new look, and all that look, as much as a lot of times you look at stuff and it might look superficial, but the back isn't quite as neat. We need the background to be neat, and it was quite an endeavor for council to take on, because any of you all know that IT resources are very expensive. You have to put a lot in it, but you get a lot out once it's in place. So, yeah.
So I don't have a question. it's good to see you, and I just wanted to put a shameless plug out for everybody with regards to the state of the city. We met at Starbucks, and I swear it's not just because Starbucks coffee has a lot of caffeine, but I left that meeting incredibly energized by the ideas that our new mayor has. And one of the things that was very apparent is that she realizes that Centennial, and I think all of us, we're kind of a sleeper cell when it comes to innovation, when it comes to service. And her heart's desire, which I was really excited about, is that with State of the City, instead of being front and center, she really is looking for businesses and for people to elevate the city and talk about how our businesses match with service projects, match with community leaders who are trying to answer problems in our community. The sleeper cells of businesses in our community that really are doing innovative things. And one that's sort of near and dear to my heart is we have Allosource that does amazing things with human tissue. But she mentioned the link, and once I get the State of the City sponsor letter out, I'll send it out, not for people, for sponsors, but just to have you guys really think about the connections that you have, the people that you know, because it's hard to know where these things are going on, but we that are closer to the bottom, I shouldn't say the bottom, but closer to the activity, I should say, we know more. And so what I would ask is that as you guys think about that, let's support this, because I really appreciate her energy to elevate and identify and cause different networking and cause different things to happen in our community once we know all the individual good things that our community is doing. So that's I enjoyed it, and thank you for bringing to the table some really great ideas.
Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, sure.
I am mentoring a brand new real estate agent, and she came to spend some time with me, and she mentioned that she had enrolled and completed a course that I believe Centennial has come out with. To teach, and I'd like you to talk more about it.
Sure.
But she was so impressed with this course that she just went through. I think it was 8-week class. Yep. And how she learned so much about Centennial, and she is using that in her marketing. But if you could share with others here what the class is about. She was so impressed.
Sure. So it's Centennial 101. And it's basically a kind of an intro class into your local government and your local community and how we operate. Centennial does, sure you've heard in the past, we operate on a contract model for a city. So we do things a little bit differently than some other areas do. And we have a great staff that, as